video, I'm continuing to introduce to you the other aspects of the analysis of the story Look, Baldwin's Vow by Molly Callaghan. And I'm covering these aspects: the point of view, the themes, symbolism, the tone, and the style. First, look at the point of view. We can see that in the story, the writer used the third person point of view, because he used the pronouns he or she or it, to describe Mr. Henry, Aunt Henry, and the dog, Mr. Ken, something like that. We call it the limited third person point of view, or the third person narrator. And there are a lot of themes in this story. You see, the first theme I may indicate from the story is that practicality is not always the best policy. In some ways, we need to be practical. But to some extent, practicality is not always the wisest thing in life. We need to consider not only the benefits, the practical values, but also the mental values. The second theme is that what is worthless to one person can be valuable to others. And in this case, we can see very clearly that to Uncle Henry, the dog is worthless. It should be got rid of. However, to Luke, it is an irreplaceable part in his life. It is the source of energy in his life. We can say that. In the third theme, we need not only bread but roses in our life. Bread here refers to materialism, and roses refers to the mental desires, the mental life that we need to pursue in our life. And finally, friendship has no boundary. There is no limitation between a person and a dog, right? And a person can make friends with a dog easily, and the dog is a kind of the best companion that Luke ever has had in his life. And empathy is a step closer to true friendship. Empathy means understanding. The dog understands Luke, and Luke understands him. And they can have a good relationship with each other. Next, we have symbolism. There are not many symbols in this story because, as I said, this story was written for secondary students. So the language is not very complicated for them to understand. We can see some symbols here. The first vow, the vow that Luke made to his dying father. He promised to his father that he would try to be like his uncle, because in his eyes, his uncle is an idol. He needs to follow his uncle in every way. And the second vow, the vow that he made at the end of the story, he needs to have money. He would try his best to have money in order to protect what he wants in his life. And the second vow here symbolizes the practicality. He is no longer an innocent boy. The materialism has affected him one way or another. The next one, 75 cents. This is the amount of money. Not £1, but 75 cents. And you can see that 75 cents is 3/4 of a pound. And when Luke hears the sound, the amount of money, 75 cents, he may think that 75 is a big number. A large amount of money he can obtain. If he proposed only £1, look may think that one path is not a plural noun, yes, plural, the bigger number, so he may refuse the proposal. Yeah. However, the quarter that is missing in this situation is the lack of, let's say, maturity in Luke's life. Yeah, he needs one more quarter in order to experience the full life, to become fully developed or mature. And the dog here is the symbol of friendship, loyalty. Yeah, dogs have been friends of people for a very long time because they are always loyal, right? And finally, the transaction between Luke and Mr. Kent, the transaction between Luke and Uncle Henry, all these are used to refer to the fact that Luke is fully, the changes in his maturity, in his development. And finally, we can see the tone and the style. This is a coming of age story. What is a coming of age story? That is the story in which there are conflicts between two generations, the younger and the older one. And after all the incidents in the story, two generations learn something from each other. Yeah, and in this story, Luke can learn from his uncle that he needs to be sensitive, he needs to be wise in order to obtain what he wants. And Uncle Henry learns a lesson from Luke that we need not only money, material values, but also sensitive values, sentimental values. Yeah. And the language used in the story is so concrete, simple, and we do not need to figure out many layers of meanings. It means that he didn't use a lot of figurative language. The writer described the characters and the actions directly, and he uses a lot of dialogues in order to review the personalities, the motivations, and also the beliefs in each person.